end of the standing lap for Cam Waters, and he's got 0.6 of a second over Davison. That's a nice cushion to get things started.
Monster crash!
This will trigger the BP Ultimate Safety Car, and sadly, the Nulon car, huge damage.
We'll get all hands on deck, get all the boys to strip it down as far as we can. It's got to go back on the jig, which means all your suspension, transaxle, engine will come out, drive line, all the bodywork obviously all off. Basically get it to a stage where it allows the car to be dropped down on the jig itself, and then check the alignment of it, make sure it's all straight. Had a good start on it Saturday. Obviously we didn't do the second race on Sunday. It's nice to get a bit of a head start so that we know when we get back here that we can press on with what we've done there and get it to the tape shop as quick as we can. We've got about a week to put the car back together and do the setup and load it back in the truck and head away up to the next round.
Initial impression was, yeah, it was a big hit, but I don't think it's as bad as what we initially thought. Looking at the damage, it's sort of localised in here. So the key one is how much damage to the bird cage and the wishbone mounts. That's what we don't know. I mean, the wishbones have kind of bolted back in there, but you don't know until you get it on the jig.
This is actually Kieran's first time in car 20, so he's come at the wrong time, to be honest with you, but no, I've known Kieran for a while. We've both been in this sport for a fair old time. It's just a bit of a get stuff done attitude. We'll pick one end of a car each and we'll just meet in the middle.
All suspension, shocks, brakes, everything that doesn't need to be in the car is going to come out. Engine's out, gearbox out. It's just going to be pretty much just a shell, and we send it away to get all the back end repaired.
Good, awesome, thank you. So, with that type of impact, it's quite common for the drive shaft to damage the spool. By the looks of it right there anyway, we've damaged the chopper wheel for the wheel speed sensor. She's going to need a bit of TLC before she hits the track again.
V-pillars have to come off the rear, just so the jig, because they've got jigging points off the side of the car, just so that they can attach to them. So the V-pillars come off, roof will obviously come off as well, and all this guttering will come off as well. We're just going through getting all the electronics out of the car that don't need to be in here, especially like the ECU and all the body control stuff like that, just so there's less stuff in here that can get filled with swarf while they're grinding and welding and all that.
So about 14 hours after starting work on the car's stripped to a bare shell. We've got all the vital components out of it. We're going to give them a service over the next couple of days while the car's on the jig. In about a couple of days, we'll get the car back and we'll put it all together.
The chassis is now here in the WRU paint shop. Once it was dropped off, it was put on the jig and pulled back into square, and all the damaged tin work, bar work and tube work was cut out of it in preparation for the new stuff to go back in. And as you can see here, we've got some new rear rails, some new down tubes, tin work in the left rear corner, air jack tubes and some roll cage tube replaced just inside the left rear door there. Now we use normal road car paint on this, 2-pack paint, 2-pack clear, so that's no different. We get in the booth, get some paint on it and make it look brand new again. Hopefully tomorrow morning the guys at Team 18 can come back, pick it up, take it home and rebuild it.
Friday morning, about 8:30, we've finally got the car back, which is cool. Just going to give it a clean, make sure we get every last little bit of filing out of it. The fabrics are really good. The car's spotless when we got it back, which is always a good sign, but we're just making sure it's all good. We'll start by fitting the body sides and the roof, then we'll start building. We'll start the front and rear, we'll meet in the middle.
Fitting out the air jacks before we go onto the hoist, because the hoist picks up off the air jack points. It's something we don't have to do later on. So at the moment, I'm just going to be rerouting all the wiring we had to peel back, try and conceal all the wires back to where they belong. One of the first things you want to get done inside and underneath the car, or big items in, you can't work around them.
Is there a polycarbonate windscreen these days? I'm just tidying up all the old glue on the side of on the edge of the screen here. I've got to re-black out the edge of it to tidy it up. We'll be good to go for Winton.
Body fitting doors is probably my least favourite job in the car. Getting them on the car is easy. Getting them to fit and look nice is a whole nother story.
Once the whole side's clean and no fingerprints, dirt, grease, whatever, because you don't want grease especially, then we can start laying the print on.
So Simon's prepping the car, Kieran's put the fuel tank in, I've put the rack in, I'm putting the front rockers in. It's a bit of a component day today, so hopefully by the end of today, should be running again.
We can get it on the hoist by tonight. That way all the rest of the stuff can get done on the hoist. Along the sides are done, then we run up and set up tomorrow. So at the moment, we're just doing the final touches. All the fluids have been added. We've just got to warm them up. And then once that's all warm, we'll flick the key, press the button, and away we go.
All the gears are going to be out. So just make sure you're right at the top.
Neutral.
The boys have worked really hard to get this thing stripped, rebuilt, gapped and wrapped and ready for Winton.
Starting.
Feels good to make it look like a car again though, doesn't it?
Everyone's dug in every department. Car 18 boys have been amazing help. Fabbies have been good. Everyone's been great here, so big relief, big team effort.